what's the fastest way to kill your mortgage business? If you're starting out or whether you have an existing mortgage business, what are the things that you can do that would literally guarantee that your business will die a very rapid death? Hey, I'm Scott Peckford. This is the I Love Mortgage Brokering podcast. And today I'm going to take a concept that I learned from Charlie Munger. I've been studying his life and some of the stuff that he's written. And he's got this idea of if you want to solve a problem, you need to invert it and then talk about how you do the opposite, which I'll get more into in a moment. Before we do get into this, and the whole idea here is that if you know what to do to kill it, then you should know what to do to make it thrive. That's the concept. Before we jump into that, though, I want to give a shout out to our title sponsor, Finmo. Finmo is a Canadian mortgage application, document collection, submission platform designed specifically for Canadian borrowers. It's very easy for borrowers to use. It's got cool features like smart docs, so it knows what docs the client needs based on how they fill out the app. It's got smart submission notes, pulls key data from the app to make it easy for you to clean that up to send to the lender. And finally, it's connected to Lender Spotlight, which is the best tool for searching rates and guidelines. Check them out at lendesk.com/Finmo and just get them to give you a demo. Best thing to do is get a test drive. You're going to see the thing works amazing. So how do we kill our mortgage business? And I love this concept. So just to give you a little backstory, Charlie Munger was actually Warren Buffett's business partner. And Warren Buffett says that Charlie has done more to impact the way that he thinks about investing in business than anyone else. They've been business partners for many years. And I think he died at like 95 or 96 or something, or Charlie did. And he was a meteorologist when he was younger during the war. And the idea was like, okay, and a meteorologist, keep in mind, this was back when they had planes. This was, a lot of aircraft, and they had to decide, okay, should they do this? Should they fly? Should they not fly? And all that stuff. And so what he did was he basically inverted, and he said, what would be, if I wanted to kill as many pilots as possible, what would I do? And so he made a list of all the things that he would do to ensure that he would kill as many pilots. And then he promptly tried to do the opposite. I think he did a good job of that. But this idea of starting with the inverse, it's really easy to think about, okay, what were the things? It's actually, we're more primed for negative thinking or problem thinking like this than we are for positives. And so by looking at the problems first and then flipping them and then, okay, how do I solve them? That's one of the best things you can do to build a successful business. So I'm going to give you the things I thought about this. And he says that if there's a list of 10, but really only 3 of them will almost guarantee, kill the most pilots or get the negative outcome you want. So in our case, how do we kill our mortgage business? I think there's 3 that really that will for sure kill your business. I have more. Maybe you got some other ones you think of. If you do, send me a note. I'd love to hear what you think. But for sure, there's 3 that I think will kill your business, or certainly, and the first 2, absolutely. So the number one thing that I think will kill your mortgage, if you wanted to for sure kill your mortgage business, and this is if you're brand spanking new or you've been in the business for 25 years, if you do this, I promise you will eventually kill your business. And that is to not have a consistent daily prospecting habit or activity. Now, when you're brand new, you will for sure die if you don't do this, because if you don't have any past clients or people that know who you are to come to get you business. But even as an experience, so for sure you're 100% dead if you're brand new. If you're not brand new, you can get away with it for a time, especially, like a couple of years ago, the market was crazy. Kind of just sit there and you just clients are flying towards you. Well, as you know, the market always changes and it shifts. It gets more difficult. And I see a consistent pattern in some people that have been in the business a long time that are a little bit worn out. And some of them are worn out for good reason. They've had a crazy season that they went through, and then and they don't really want to prospect anymore, which is fair. But then there's other people who don't think they should have to prospect. So that's a worse mindset. So to be like, I'm just exhausted and I don't really want to do it is one thing, but to be the mindset of I don't think I should have to anymore because I've been doing this too long, that's a fatal mindset to have, because that's not true. And the people who built successful businesses and continue to grow even through this harder time, they all have a consistent prospecting. So what does it mean by prospecting? It could be daily phone calls. It could be DMs. It could be sending out videos. It could be doing presentations, breaking bread meeting, whatever that is. You need to have a consistent habit of doing prospecting. And if you build that into your business and make it a non-negotiable, as Dan Martell likes to say, non-negotiables, or what are those daily non-negotiables that you're doing? If you don't do that, your business will die. And if you're brand new, you're absolutely screwed. You might as well, you're not even going to get anything going. So that's the first thing you do if you want to kill it. The second thing, if you want to kill your mortgage business and increase your stress, is don't have any written down processes and don't have any checklists in place. So basically, every time a mortgage comes in, don't have handle them all differently. Have a different way that you handle it, so that It'd be like, imagine if there was a hamburger stand and instead of having a recipe that makes the hamburgers the same. So when customers come back, they go, oh, wow, I love this hamburger. I'll come back. Next time to come back, like, wow, it's different. A lot of people that I'm not going to say you, we'll say it's other people. So but I'm not saying it's you, but a lot of other people, other mortgage brokers, sometimes what they'll do is they won't have a consistent process. And so it would be like going to that hamburger stand and getting a different hamburger. Wow, this last time they had onions on it. This time they don't. Like what's going on? And what happens is it will kill your business. It will also kill your referrals. So you're going to get less referrals from clients. It's going to kill your repeat clients, and it's going to make you're going to make more mistakes, which is going to ultimately cause you more problems. So if you want to for sure kill your mortgage business, then don't have any processes, don't have any checklists, just fly by the seat of your pants, keep it all up in your head, right? Even worse, keep it all up in your head, and maybe you'll hopefully remember to do it when the time comes. I know when I was brokering, I would have a checklist. So in that first client meeting, when I would meet with them and do the discovery call and do all the planning, it wasn't face-to-face, most of the time it was over the phone. But I would do this client discovery call and I would have a check. And then even on the second meeting, I would have a checklist to ensure I talked about everything. But here's the thing. I didn't use the checklist as like a weirdo that's like, okay, Mr. Customer, I just made it a conversation. I made it a conversation, but before I ended the conversation, I would go back and I would look and I would check and see, did I miss anything in that natural conversation that happened? And every single time there was at least one or two things that I'm like, oh, don't forget, I want to also explain to you how taxes work. This is important, or whatever that was. And I would have this little checklist. So then I wouldn't have to hold it in my head. And that way I created a much more consistent process, which then generated more referrals because your hamburger stand has consistent hamburgers. If you think about the most successful hamburger companies, McDonald's, they don't make very good hamburgers, but they're always the same. When you go there, whether you go to one in Dallas, Texas, or Toronto, or Dubai, they all taste the same. And so they're all done the same. So there's a consistency that you need to have. So the first thing you want to kill your business is have no prospecting time. Just do it when you feel like it or when business slows down. The second is don't have any processes or checklists. And then the third, and this one's going to really limit your growth, is assume that no one can do it as well as you. So this is a toxic mindset. So what happens is I see some mortgage brokers, not you're listening to this, you're not the kind of person that would do that. But some mortgage brokers, I have a friend, that quote that we say, I have a friend, and this is what he does. So one of the mistakes is that they will assume that no one else can do it like them. So and I understand where this comes from. If you think about this, so when you're a new mortgage broker, it's stressful. I bet you anybody who's been doing this for more than 5 years could think back, or even 2 years is probably even easier. You could think back to that file that you're like, dang, that I put so much energy into that and I lost it. And now I wouldn't lose it today because I am better at my job. I know how to handle that situation. I know how to handle that conversation. And so what happens is we take this. So because we have to go through the school of hard knocks of learning how to actually do the mortgages, making the mistakes so that we burn those mistakes into our brains so that we don't make them in the future. Then now what happens is we wrap our arms around our business and we don't let it go. We basically, and I see people, I've seen brokers at almost to the extreme of like, nobody can pull credit as well as me. Really? Nobody can do this as well as you. I don't think that's probably true. Nobody can review the documents like me. And so what ends up happening is, and I met a broker once who told me, his philosophy was stay small and keep it all. And I'm like, okay, good for you, but you're really going to limit your ability to grow your business. And it may work for a season, but what I find happens with people that have this control, this toxic, no one can do it better than me mindset, is they eventually burn out. So you're not going to die. Maybe you're going to have great prospecting. You're going to have great processes, but because you can't share the load, because you can't trust anyone else. And again, that's not true. It's true that you don't trust them, but it's actually it's a bad mindset. Because of that, you will burn yourself out. And what happens is these wonderful people who are great at this job, who are create an amazing experience for clients, burn themselves out. And I guarantee you, some of you listen to this are like, yeah, me, ding, ding, ding. That's definitely my situation. And so what I would say there is that, and this comes from Dan Martell as well. He says, if somebody can do something 80% as well as you is 100% awesome. So if somebody can do something 80% as well as you can do it, you should let them do it. And here's the thing. If you bring somebody on, and I promise you this, they will make mistakes. And I also promise you, they will lose you deals in the short term. But in the long term, you will build something that is way more sustainable. You will build something, and eventually they'll be better. If you get the right people and you put the right processes in place and training and checking them, they'll actually be better than you. So initially they'll be 80% as good as you, then 85, then 95, then they'll be 100. And then they'll be like, shoot, if you actually got back into the job, you wouldn't do it as well. But in order to get there, you have to let go. You got to let go of this toxic mindset, because otherwise, even if you've got great prospecting, even if you've got great processes, you will burn yourself out. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys this week. Did you think there's something different? Do you think there's something else that you could do if you wanted to for sure kill your mortgage business? I think these three in my mind, are the big ones. I got a list of other ones. I made a whole bunch of other ones. I was like, yeah, but would it really kill it if you didn't do this? Like, for instance, one of the ones I thought about was don't have a database marketing plan or a client for life program. It's dumb. Like, you should do it. Will it kill your business? Nah, maybe not. Maybe not kill it. It'll certainly won't be as good as it could be, but it's not absolutely necessary. And it won't, I don't think it'll lead to the demise of your business, like not consistent prospecting or consistent processes and checklists, and then assuming that it all has to be on me. I feel like those three are if I had the trifecta of, the perfect killing machine for killing mortgage brokers' businesses, this is what I would do to you. I'd be like, do these things, your business is dead. So on the flip side to this, I would say if you want to build a thriving business, just as Charlie Munger says, and this is not my stuff. Like, I love learning, man. I love studying what smart people have done that have gone before me. Like, Charlie Munger is one of the smartest people that if I encourage you to go check out his book. It's called Poor Charlie's Almanac, and it's basically the wit and wisdom of Charlie, and it's all of his just speeches and stuff. And then he gives a little breakdown. The guy was so smart, and he was contrarian in his thinking, right? Very contrarian. But this whole idea of inverting the problem to try to figure out how to solve it is, in my opinion, it's simplicity. But then it's like, okay, now I got to do something about it. So anyways, I hope you find that useful. Thanks for listening. If you found this show useful, you can always shoot me an email. I read every email. I respond to every email. Scott@othermortgagebrokering.com. Follow me on Instagram. I'm working on my social media. So it's something I only started last year. I've been podcasting now for 10 years. That was a mistake. I should have probably started YouTube and all this other stuff. But if I'm honest, I just didn't want to do my hair. I'm like, I don't want to do my hair. Like, how stupid, like, not that my hair is even that, whatever, but I didn't want to be like, I don't want to do my hair, or like, and because, so I basically did all audio because of just a bit of laziness, frankly. But I could also have built at the same time, I could have built a great YouTube presence, but I didn't, and a great social media presence. But hey, no time like the present. Let's get doing it now. And there's lots of great resources that I've been, studying in order to get better at that. So thanks for listening. And as I always say, there's no problem that hasn't been solved in your mortgage business. Your problem is like, who's got the answer? And hopefully this podcast gives you some of those answers. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.